this world, there is real evil. In the darkest shadows and in the most ordinary places. These are the true stories of the innocent and the unimaginable. When the Mackeys convert an abandoned roadhouse into a country music dance hall, they awaken an old evil. The angry dead attack the living and invade the bodies of the weak. With the help of a psychic and a preacher, the possessed fight to save their souls. Between the world we see and the things we fear, there are doors. When they are opened, nightmares become reality. In Wilder, Kentucky, an abandoned music hall stands on the banks of the Licking River, which runs north to Cincinnati. Local legend says that murderers and devil worshippers are drawn to this waterway, one of the few in the world that flows true north. Town records attest to the fact that it once ran red with blood.
Well, this is it, Mr. Mackey. As you can see, there's quite a bit of work to be done. I think you'll see that this facility has everything that you're going to need.
Country music artist Bobby Mackey has been on the road for 12 years. Ever since he quit his job with the railroad to sing full-time, he's dreamed of owning his own nightclub.
Well, the type of music that I've always loved is the traditional country music. And lots of club owners don't understand that, and they wanted different types of music, and it got to the place where I didn't want to be nobody dictating to me the kind of music that I felt in my heart and I wanted to play. And it was either move to Nashville at that time or get my own place.
This'll work. This will work.
The former rock and roll roadhouse in Wilder, Kentucky is exactly what Bobby has been looking for.
I just give you the key.
I'd like to bring my wife by sometime to look at it.
Later that afternoon, Bobby returns to the club with his pregnant wife, Janet.
What do you think? Come on, we'll go inside.
Did you see that?
See what?
That door just opened.
It was just a lock. Come on in. I want to show it to you.
Janet didn't want to come in here. She didn't feel right about it at all.
Here. Come on, check this out. Watch your step, Janet, right here. Well, what do you think? Check it out. There's the bar right there. And the restrooms are over here, and...
I don't have a good feeling about this place.
Here, why don't you go check out the kitchen? It's really big in there.
Janet Mackey appears in silhouette to protect her privacy.
Felt like somebody was in there. And there wasn't nobody in there but him and I. I wanted to get out of there as soon as possible.
Bobby? Who are you talking to?
Nobody.
What do you mean? I heard voices. Who are you talking to?
Janet, I'm not talking to anybody. It's just you and me here, baby. So what'd you think?
I don't have a good feeling about this place.
I'm ready to go home. I'm ready to leave. Let's come back tomorrow. Let's think about this some more. Because all I want to do is get out of there.
In my mind's eye, I could see it all. I could see the crowd. I could see people dancing. And so there was nothing going to stop me. I had to have the place.
From the day that Bobby signs the banknote and buys the place, he never looks back. His wife tries to support his decision.
I was afraid of it, but it's always been his dream. I knew that's what he's always wanted. And I thought, well, I'll just hang in there and support him.
One day, Bobby and Janet are cleaning up the club when a stranger arrives.
Hi, howdy. My name's Carl Lawson.
Carl Lawson worked for the previous owners of the club as a handyman. But he's been out of a job since a series of brutal murders forced the club to shut down.
I've kind of been out of work since they closed.
I'd seen more just unexplained acts of violence in and around that building than you shake a stick at. Any nightclub or bar is going to have its share of, brawls or fights that's going to happen.
Why was it shut down?
But on this scale here,
Well, this place used to draw really...
it was abnormal.
I need an ambulance here now. I got a gentleman down on the ground. He has a gunshot wound to the chest.
The last year at the club was the most violent. 6 homicides. Carl believes that something about the place causes people to become violent.
Something's going on with this place. Eventually, that's what got the place closed down.
Sir, can you tell me what happened?
We're playing classic country music here. We're not gonna have those kind of people here. You'll see. I assure you.
Well, that'd be a nice change of pace, sir.
Bobby believes his brand of
Pretty
classic
nice.
country music will attract a more peaceful
I've kinda
crowd.
been out of work since,
You paint?
which hand you want me to paint with?
Bobby
So,
hires
you-
Carl as a
you start
full-time
today?
handyman
Thanks, sir.
and caretaker.
What do you know?
I just knew right off the bat I get along with him. I mean, it just seemed straightforward and just said what he meant and meant what he said.
I think that'll just about do it.
His wife, Janet, was about the same way.
Carl and I became buddies, and he was more like my little brother.
Carl, you know what you were saying earlier about strange things happening to people around here?
Me and her knew this place. There's more that meets the eye.
I'm gonna be in the next room painting. If you need anything, just give me a holler.
All right. Thank you.
Janet! You okay? Janet, what happened?
There was blood in there. There was blood coming up out of the sink.
The sink is empty. There's nothing in the sink. Nothing
Wasn't for him.
You're the
Who
only
knows what would happen next?
Just blood in there.
I do know for a fact something forced that woman's head down in
There
that
was a hand
sink.
pushing my head into the sink.
I knew right there and then, whatever's here is not playing games. It's become dangerous. It's become violent.
I'm telling you, Bobby, there was a hand in the middle of my back forcing me into the sink.
Janet tells her husband what's happened, but Bobby can't believe what he's hearing.
It was like it all just stopped and
He told me I was crazy. He didn't believe me. He didn't believe Carl.
What's going on here?
But it did happen.
I'm telling you, I don't want you filling her head with any more of this stuff. Do you hear me?
He's not putting anything in my head. I know what I saw, and I told him about it.
Janet, ain't nothing.
I don't believe in ghosts. Gotta be
I've
an
heard enough. That's it.
explanation.
That is it.
Something else. It can't be that. I couldn't dwell on it.
Carl, sit down. I don't want you filling her head with any more of these ghost stories. Do you hear me? And I certainly don't.
Bobby warns Carl to keep his ghost stories to himself,
Any more of these ghost
or
stories.
he'll
Do you
have
hear
to
me?
find another job.
Now go and clean the bar. We need to get
I
ready.
had
for
invested
opening.
everything I had in here, and all I wanted to do was get it open. And I didn't want to hear anything about ghosts, and I had told Carl over and over not to tell people about it, and much less quit putting it in Janet's mind.
One night soon after, police officer Larry Hornsby makes his rounds.
I had a funny feeling all night for some reason. And a full moon, something's going to happen.
This'll work.
You guys don't happen to need any help, do you?
Officer Larry Hornsby calls for backup, suspecting a burglar may be inside Bobby Mackey's club.
Did you hear it? Yeah, backstage. All right, let's go. All right. Police! Come on out! Police! Come out!
I knew there was a man and a woman in the radio playing. I heard the voice and I heard the music.
There's nobody back here. What do you mean there's nobody back here? I heard voices in here, though. Me too. Front door. Let's go.
No wind. There was nothing could close that door. We was stunned. Put it that way in plain words, we was stunned.
Hey, what are you gonna call in? We saw a ghost?
I said, if I put this in a report like this,
Don't call it in.
they'll be sending me to a psychiatrist. I'm just gonna put it, I went into the building and checked it out, made sure there was nobody in here.
I'll see you tomorrow, all right? I'm getting out of here. Have a good day.
A few nights later, Officer Larry Hornsby returns to the nightclub in response to a fatal traffic accident.
You got nothing? All right, we need to get these guys out of the car. We got anything to cover the bodies?
Nothing in the car.
Look, I need an EMT out here quick. I got 2 bodies from a car accident. We need the end. Thanks. Here.
After we got the scene cleared, we came back up, knocked on the door so we could thank her for giving us the tablecloth. But the doors were locked. We didn't know what happened to her.
The next afternoon, Officer Hornsby tells Bobby about the woman who brought out the tablecloths.
Did you hear about that accident last night?
Yeah, I read about it in the paper.
We thought it was a waitress, and we described her.
Tell you about it so you can thank her.
Bobby says there was no one at the club after 10 p.m.
This place was...
I never did believe in ghosts. Never. I would laugh at you.
It was around 2 or 3.
Then. But a lot of things changed since then.
I'm telling you, Larry, these doors were locked. There was no one else here.
No, I don't want to say all these people are liars, because there are a lot of credible people. But I just find it hard to believe that there's anything in here, any supernatural or any ghosts, or I just can't believe that. There's got to be an explanation for everything that has taken place.
You all right?
Oh, I'm fine. I just broke the last of my good bulbs. I gotta go get another one.
Okay.
Careful with the last one.
That's all right. I'll clean it up. I'm good.
Janet, you don't have to clean anything up. I'll be right
I get it.
All right, I'll be right back, okay?
Get her in here. Come on, darling. Come on. Hello? Anybody here? Help! Hold on, Janet. My wife, she fell down the stairs. She's pregnant.
I was so terrified because I thought, I was going to lose my baby.
Sit down here.
I went into labor.
What happened? Come on. My wife, she fell down the stairs. She just tripped. And
I was angry. I was terrified. I was everything.
She told me it's something that forced her down the steps, and I believed her. Bobby's concern was the business. I mean, I can understand He's got his reputation on the line.
We gotta do something about these spirits, man. They're getting out of control.
Carl, there's no spirits. What's wrong with you?
Nobody's gonna believe you unless you experience it yourself.
You all right? Do you need anything?
Janet gives birth to a baby girl who weighs only 1 pound, 15 ounces. They don't know if she'll survive. In the following weeks, the couple monitors their newborn. When it becomes clear that their daughter will survive, Bobby prepares for the grand opening.
Great time.
Opening night, I was kind of numb. I had a lot on my shoulders and a lot of stress and a lot of pressure.
Don't forget to see Mackey behind the bar.
Wish I was a king or had $1,000,000. I don't wish I had a penthouse view. I don't think about a Hummer or a limousine or vacations on the finest cruise. All I want is a country girl and a boss we have always been true.
Carl, listen to me. I don't want you telling any ghosts. Carl, look at me. I don't want you telling any of the customers that stuff. All right?
Bobby, I got
My focus was totally on running this business and making it work. I didn't want to hear any of this nonsense. I wanted to make the place known for a great country music dance hall.
A few weeks later, Carl moves into an apartment above the club. He spends every night there, alone.
Unless I had to go somewhere, I stay here. Kept an eye on it, protected it. It was something like from a nightmare. I'd actually thought I was dreaming, but I wasn't. It was real.
For weeks, Carl is in denial about what he's seen. One day, Carl is cleaning up the storage room.
My love is as deep as the sea, it flows forever. You ask me when will it end, I tell you never. My love is as bright as the sun, it shines forever. You ask me when will it end, I tell you never. The world may disappear like a castle of sand. I will be waiting here with my heart in my hand. You ask me when will I die, I tell you never.
The diary contains the personal confessions of a woman named Johanna, a dancer who performed at the club in the 1930s.
Tuesday.
She was in love with a musician, and Johanna's father did not like this guy.
He said he'd kill him if we didn't stop seeing each other. I'd rather be dead than lose Robert.
Johanna writes that her lover mysteriously disappeared. She feared that her father had killed him, so she poisoned her father, and then herself. Her final entry in the diary proclaimed that she would roam the halls of the club for all eternity, waiting for her lover to return.
I couldn't breathe. Maybe I just got a medical problem I should get checked.
Carl is unable to sleep. Then the power goes out. Carl goes to the basement to check the breaker panel. He stumbles onto a latch that he had never noticed before. Desperate and frightened, Carl returns to the basement, carrying a vial of holy water.
I'm a firm believer in Jesus Christ. I felt if it's evil, get some holy water or something, keep what's down there from getting back up here.
Carl knows that whatever is inside the well is stronger than him.
Look at this place.
Carl? Are you all right?
In the following weeks, Carl's behavior becomes unpredictable.
How come you haven't cleaned up the place?
It got to the point where I wouldn't know which Carl I was talking to.
Carl, you okay?
I would have to talk to him for just a little while to figure out, how to deal with him, because he always seemed to be different.
You think you're alone here, but you're not.
Carl, you okay?
You'll see.
See what?
I've been trying to tell you, Bobby.
Tell me what?
Don't you
This
see?
place sort of, it became it was part of me.
Bobby Mackey stays focused on his business. He asks a friend, Doug Hensley, to help him produce a television commercial.
So, come on down to Bobby Mackey's Music World, where the good times never die.
Cut!
Although Bobby refuses to believe the nightclub is haunted, he confides in his friend about the strange occurrences.
So how's everything going?
Pretty good. I'm having a problem with one of my employees, though.
Who?
A kid named Carl. That
Once
young
Bobby
kid.
had told me
Yeah,
the story,
he's seen ghosts.
I asked him
Really?
why he kept it
He says
quiet.
he's seen ghosts. He's telling
And he
ghosts and
said that
everything to
a
me.
lot of people are afraid of ghosts,
Janet about it. He's got
and he didn't want the word out. He firmly said he didn't believe in it, but his wife and Carl Lawson believed the place was haunted.
As a writer, Doug is intrigued by the incredible story.
Do you mind if I talk to him, though?
I guess you want to talk to him, you can talk to him, but
I'd love to. I just want you to tell me what you experienced, best as you can say.
This place is evil. I've seen stuff I can't explain. I found a loose floorboard. Inside that floorboard,
Carl
I
tells
found a
Doug
diary.
about Johanna's diary. And the two men he saw in the basement.
Carl told me that this place was filled with evil, and the only reason he stayed here was to protect Janet and Bobby. Had it not been for that, he would have left here a long time ago. But he also told me that they don't want us here. Something always pulled him back here.
Hensley is a natural skeptic, but he takes their stories at face value.
I was 5.5 months pregnant. And I felt this hand in the middle of my back, but I was alone.
I found Janet to be more believable than Carl in the beginning because her demeanor was total and complete trepidation. She was afraid to even talk about it. You would have to know Janet Mackey to know that she would not make up something like this.
Though he remains skeptical, the stories pique his interest. He goes to the local library to research the history of the club.
I really thought Carl Lawson was schizophrenic until I started doing hours and hours of research, learning the history of this place.
Hensley finds an explanation for Carl's story in a 19th century article from the Kentucky Post.
I learned of two men that were hung in Newport, Kentucky in 1897. Their names were Alonzo Walling and Scott Jackson.
Alonzo Walling and Scott Jackson, two Cincinnati dental students, were convicted and sentenced to die by hanging for the murder of a young socialite named Pearl Bryan. Her headless body was found near the site of an old slaughterhouse in Wilder, Kentucky. She was 5.5 months pregnant at the time of her murder.
Alonzo Walling swore a curse on the gallows and said that he would come back from hell and haunt everyone involved in his trial and haunt the place where Pearl Bryan's head was.
Hensley tells Carl and Janet what he has found. He explains that after Pearl Bryan's body was discovered, bloodhounds led investigators to the slaughterhouse. Locals suspected that the killers had disposed of Pearl's head in the old well in the basement of the slaughterhouse as part of a satanic ritual. But the head was never found. Doug explains that the nightclub rests on the foundation of the old slaughterhouse.
Satan worshippers came to this spot at night and gave blood sacrifices down inside that well to worship the devil because of all the blood spilled on this ground. There was a culvert pipe that all the blood of the animals was rinsed into the Licking River. It is my opinion that Alonzo Walling and Scott Jackson both dwell at this nightclub because this is where they disposed of Pearl's head.
One striking similarity among Johanna, Pearl Bryan, and Janet Mackey is hard to ignore.
Janet Mackey told me she was 5.5 months pregnant when she was thrown down a flight of stairs.
Bobby, you gotta do something about this.
Pearl Bryan was 5.5 months pregnant.
Somebody that can help us.
Johanna, the dance hall girl who poisoned herself inside this nightclub, was pregnant. Right around 5.5 months.
Doug Hensley knows that there are angry spirits inside Bobby Mackey's nightclub. Hoping to bring peace to the building, he invites a psychic named Patricia Michelle. Michelle is a nationally known medium and psychic counselor. She claims that since she was a child, she has been able to communicate with the dead.
Patricia, this is Carl.
When I arrived at the club, I met Carl, the caretaker.
They're here.
He started to talk, and I said, do me a favor, Carl. I said, don't talk to me about any spirits. I said, let me walk through the club. Let me experience what I experienced. I have what they call inner vision, or second sight.
Patricia senses the presence of a spirit.
What's your name?
And she said, my name is Johanna. I said, what happened to you?
Why are you here?
She said, I know I'm dead. I said, why don't you let me send you to the light? And she said, no, lady. She said, don't send me to no light.
Patricia realizes that Johanna's spirit has chosen to remain earthbound.
I think that what is in Bobby Mackey's nightclub are ghosts that believe there is no place for them to go. And so they would prefer to live in this nightclub than to go on to a place where they may burn for eternity. That's what they think. I don't see the room as it is. I see the room like it used to be.
Patricia sees a vision of a decapitated head.
I got this overwhelming feeling of nausea. I felt like I was spinning. I couldn't wait to get out of there.
Are you okay? Are you sure? Doug's bringing you a glass of water, okay?
There you go.
Thank you.
The psychic senses the presence of two evil spirits.
Carl, the two men in the room. I think they're trying to
I
use
said,
your
Carl,
body.
these two men in this room, I said, I believe that they're trying to use your body.
I think it makes them feel comfortable.
They were enjoying their senses, touch, smell, taste. For me, I was controlled.
Carl, they've gone now. Carl, it's okay. They've gone
The
now.
psychic tells Carl he cannot fight these spirits alone.
I think you're going to need to get a minister to help you.
I definitely felt that Carl was possessed. And I told him then, I said, you really need to get a minister or someone to help you.
Doug Hensley brings a Pentecostal minister to meet with Carl.
And he told me that this was the most evil site that he'd ever stepped foot on in his life, that it was full of evil.
Why don't you guys wait here?
He said, I've been doing this for years, and I'm telling you, Carl Lawson is demonically possessed.
The minister has agreed to perform an exorcism.
Pray for us.
He asked me to stand outside the room, and he and Carl went into the old kitchen and sat at a table, and the minister started performing an exorcism.
You're a living gateway for violent spirits. It's not a natural type of thing. They want to live inside of you. So what I'd like to do is to have us pray together.
I don't think you understand, preacher. They're gonna kill me. They're gonna try to kill you too.
No, it's all right. It's going to be okay. We have God on our side. Just pray with me. It'll be better, you'll see. Let's just go ahead. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Carl? Carl? Carl?
I'm not praying to anyone, preacher.
Who are you? Alonzo needs to leave Carl's body. And therefore I say unto you, be with the Lord God, and the devil will flee from you. Carl, submit yourself to God. Flee from the devil, and he will flee from you. In the name of Jesus Christ of Nazareth, I command you to leave Carl's body.
The exorcism started to become violent, and Reverend got afraid, and he called us other men into the room to surround Carl.
In the name of Jesus Christ, I command you to leave his body.
He started speaking in Latin, and then he started speaking in English backwards, and he says, "I am Satan."
This Bible commands you.
And the spirit said, like a dog growling, "I manetas."
Compels you just to listen. Therefore,
At that time, none of us had any idea what that meant, but later on, after the exorcism, the preacher showed us, he wrote that backwards, and it says, "I am Satan."
James 4:7 says, "Submit to God."
Carl, can you hear me? Are you all right?
When I woke up, everybody was looking at me, and I was on the floor, and I didn't know what happened.
After the exorcism, Carl decides it is time to move on.
I felt different.
Take it easy now. I wish you the best of luck, Carl. If you ever need anything, you know where to find me.
I felt changed.
Time for me to go. Take care.
I felt like a new human being.
Guess I'll be getting on too.
How about a cup of coffee? Come on.
No, it's okay. You take care.
I didn't need to have the spirits tell me to get out. I got out, and I never went back.
To this day, Bobby Mackey claims he himself has never witnessed paranormal activity at his nightclub.
I don't know if the place got a hold of me or anything unforeseen is holding me here. If that's a supernatural experience, then so be it. And I'm going to stay here.
Beneath the active nightclub, in the bowels of the old slaughterhouse, the well remains. Some say that it is still a gateway, and that an ancient evil hides deep inside, waiting. In this world, there is real evil. In the darkest shadows and in the most ordinary places. These are the true stories of the innocent and the unimaginable. Marie Potter knows that her daughter Julie has powers of perception beyond the five senses. In profound silence, something unknowable speaks to her. Something that torments the family and fights to destroy everything they hold sacred. Between the world we see and the things we fear, there are doors. When they are opened, nightmares become reality. The Hudson Valley of upstate New York has long been rumored to be a land of ghosts and demons. Early Dutch explorers named it the Devil's Playground. And pioneers told stories of terrifying supernatural encounters. Even today, some inhabitants report horrifying hauntings. In the fall of 1998, Single mother Marie Potter struggles to care for her children, Paul, Angela, and Julie.
You look tired.
Julie suffers from a severe birth defect.
There you go.
She cannot walk or talk. To protect her identity, Marie appears in shadow.
Her comprehension seemed to be okay, but her expressive abilities were less. Her communication was more facial expressions or sounds.
There we go. Okay.
The family moved into the house 3 years earlier.
Mommy will be right back, okay?
Ever since, Julie has seemed to watch and smile at unseen visitors.
To me, the way she was reacting, it looked like someone who was playing peekaboo through the wall.
Julie?
Because she'd look at it funny and look startled when it would come back. I thought it was angels.
Marie is confident that whatever the cause of Julie's strange behavior, it doesn't pose any threat to her daughter.
I just assumed it would be good. Just because of how she was.
In 1998, Marie visits her childhood neighborhood in Brooklyn, New York, where friends introduce her to an intriguing stranger named Chris.
He seemed down to earth and honest, and he had a good sense of humor. So we kind of hit it off.
Chris admires Marie's grit and determination and immediately falls for her.
She doesn't take any garbage from anybody, and I kind of like that.
A few weeks later, Marie invites Chris to her house.
Hi. Glad you could make it.
Chris has an ominous feeling as soon as he steps through the door.
It felt very crowded. It's like walking out from outdoors into a closet. That much of an atmospheric feeling as you went from a lot of air to no air. And it was a big open room, so there should have been plenty there.
Kids?
He tries to ignore the uneasy feeling.
This is Paul, and this is Angela. Kids, this is Chris.
The kids and I really hit it off. They're wonderful kids.
This is Julie. Julie? Julie, honey, I'd like you to meet Chris.
Hi, Julie.
Like she could kind of see through you or into you.
It's okay.
If you were not nice, she would know.
It was really nice meeting you.
She kind of glanced at me, and she gave me a big smile, and I just smiled back.
Can I talk to you for a minute?
Sure.
Chris decides to tell Marie about the uneasy feeling he got when he entered the house. He explains that as a teenager, he studied the paranormal and discovered that he had a natural ability to sense spirits.
What do you mean?
Chris believes that there is some kind of supernatural activity inside Marie's house.
Look, I'm not trying to scare you. I just think you have something like that in this house.
Marie assumes that Chris is talking about whatever Julie is communicating with. What Marie thinks of as angels.
And he said they're not good. I thought, why would it be bad? Didn't make any sense why it would be bad.
Chris leaves, curious about the nature of the home's unseen inhabitants. He fears that the family could be at risk.
Wake up, kids. School day.
A few days later, in the early morning.
Paul, get in here. Were you playing in here last night?
It wasn't me. It was the boy with yellow hair.
What boy?
Boy that comes at night.
Nice try. Pick your toys up, put them in your
You
room.
need to clean them up.
No, the little boy likes to play with them. He plays in the living room. I don't want him in my room.
Mommy, there's somebody in my room.
She came into my room. There's a boy with blonde hair in my room. I want him out.
So where is he?
Well, he was right there.
She got angry. He was here.
So what about your job in the city?
I can commute. I mean, it's only an hour and 10 minutes by train.
Over the following weeks, Marie and Chris grow closer.
I like it here.
Eventually, he moves in and becomes a father figure to the children.
They would start doing stuff to make me and Marie happy. And if they didn't want me there, they would have made it painfully obvious. They were very open, and once the relationship started, it just blossomed.
Yeah, pass those rolls down here.
Yeah.
So you guys are really excited about going on vacations, probably.
The natural assumption was that it must have been a figment of her imagination or a ghost.
I don't know what we're gonna do, but we're gonna do something.
I've got an idea. Have you ever used a Ouija board?
Chris believes that a Ouija board will help him communicate with the spirits in the house.
I wanted to find out if there was a message they were trying to tell us.
What you're doing?
Find out what they want.
Marie has doubts.
Do you know what you're doing? Because I never did this. And he's like, oh yeah, I've used this before. He said to me, this is what you do. You put your hands on the planchette and I'll ask the questions and it will move.
There's a spirit here that wishes to speak.
And I said, yeah, okay. I said, sure, it's not gonna move. That doesn't make any sense. How can this thing move on its own?
Is there a spirit here that wishes to speak? Is there a spirit here that wishes to speak?
Yes. Chris, if you're doing that,
I said, you did it.
Swear.
He goes, no, I didn't move it.
I swear to God.
Are you sure you know what you're doing?
I'm sure. What is your name?
F R A N K. Frank.
Frank, why are you here?
The planchette moves to the letters J and P.
That's Julie's initials. He wants Julie.
We don't know that for sure.
What else could it be?
Frank, what do you want with Julie? Frank, are you here?
There was no response for that.
Chris refuses to give up.
Is there a spirit here that wishes to speak?
He goes, okay, is there anybody else here? And it went to yes.
Yes.
And he said, what's his name? And went to Adam. And he asked, who are you? And it spelled out the word son. Chris freaked. Because his ex-wife had aborted a child. So he thought it was his son.
That's when I kind of got freaked out. And that was like, why are you following me? And it wouldn't answer.
What if it's my son? What if it's my son?
I said to Chris, I said, it might not be your son. He said, it is. I know it is.
Adam, are you here?
We should have stopped.
Did you
He
hear
said,
that?
did you hear that? I don't hear anything. What are you talking about?
Hold on.
There was banging underneath the floor in the kitchen. And then sounds from the hallway in the basement. And I was like, what is going on?
Oh my God. Hold on, Chris. Chris?
They were trying to do everything they could to start scaring us.
A few days later.
It looked like paint. It felt like paint. I asked the kids, and they said, no, it wasn't them.
Marie knows there is no white paint in the house, and the handprints do not match the size of her children's hands. She has no rational explanation.
Chris?
Marie and Chris believe that whatever spoke to them through the Ouija board is still in the house.
2636.
They seek help from a local investigator who runs an internet website about the paranormal. The investigator suggests a way to make sure their children are not playing a prank.
Try this.
She said if we put baby powder on the ground, that it was light enough to be disturbed by energy going over it.
The passing spirit will leave a trail.
The investigator says that tracks left in the powder will show whether or not they're dealing with something supernatural.
Put down flour or baby powder.
The next morning.
No human being was able to reach where the writing was without stepping in the powder.
Chris and Marie call the paranormal investigator to the house.
Baby powder down like you told us to, and the next morning it was like this. There's the J there, and the A, and an F.
The investigator turns pale when Marie points out the name written in the powder.
What can we do about it?
Do either of you know Lilith?
No.
No.
I can't help you anymore.
Why not?
That's my daughter's name.
She felt threatened. Nobody knew her daughter's name.
Lights are flickering.
It has been weeks since Marie and Chris used a Ouija board to communicate with spirits inside their house. Ever since, Marie has had trouble sleeping.
Who are you?
I'm Frank. Frank who? Because you're such a stupid woman.
What do you want?
You don't know what's going on.
You're too late.
Because you can't help her. What are you talking about? Help who? Julie.
You stay away from my daughter.
You can't help her. Because you're nothing.
What's the matter?
There's a man in the backyard. He wants Julie.
It's okay, it's just a dream. It is.
It was real.
It's okay.
Marie tries to dismiss her nightmares.
Just a dream.
hoping that they are simply a product of anxiety.
Is it Paul? Paul, what's the matter? It's okay. Are you all right?
He was crying and he kept saying, the face came through the wall, the face came through the wall.
Marie feels helpless to protect her family from an unknown entity.
It's just a dream.
I didn't want the kids getting hurt. Didn't really care about me, but I didn't want them getting hurt.
The next day, Marie rearranges Paul's room. The boy refuses to sleep with his bed set against the wall.
There was an F on the floor. And it looked like it was burned and I couldn't get it off.
Chris!
I got Chris and I go, what is this and why is this here? And he goes, I don't know.
To Marie, it seems like proof that Frank is real. Chris and Marie consider moving to a new house.
Maybe we should leave the house.
But fear that their problems are not attached to the house, but to Julie.
If I picked up a move, I would leave bringing her with me. Couldn't leave her there by herself. So it'd just be a new house, same stuff.
A few weeks later.
What are you doing down here?
You don't know who I am, do you?
It was weird. The light that usually would shine towards the washing machine and dryer was facing him like a spotlight.
Julie is mine.
What are you talking about? She's my daughter, not yours.
You still don't know who I am, do you?
Quit playing. You're starting to scare me, Chris.
I'm not Chris.
Because you can't help her. Because she's mine, not yours. You can't help her.
I'm Frank.
What's wrong with you?
I don't know. I don't know what's going on.
Do you remember our conversation in the basement?
It was hard to breathe. And I remember Marie keep yelling at me, what's wrong, what happened, calm down. I just remember feeling panic.
I was like, did you do that on purpose? Because I don't know. I don't know what happened.
neither Marie nor Chris want to leave the house.
But we have to do something.
They simply want their lives back.
What about another investigator?
It's very tiring because you don't sleep.
One friend of mine.
You start thinking you're nuts.
So.
It ends up being kind of like this big whirlwind, and you're trying not to be sucked into the middle of it.
We decided to make a stand. We were not going to let this guide our lives.
Let's do this together.
It's 555.
Desperate, the couple contacts another paranormal investigator. Dave Considine is a lay religious demonologist. He draws on the power of the Catholic Church to combat hauntings.
All right, tell me what's been going on.
I had felt in her voice that she was sincere. She was trying to get the information out to me as quick as possible and wanted us there immediately.
One of them is disabled and...
It was just that sense of urgency, that sense of fear in her voice.
Dave becomes deeply concerned when he learns that the couple used a Ouija board.
A Ouija board is basically an oracle, whereas a spirit can enter through, be it a human spirit or a diabolical spirit.
Dave fears that the couple has released a demonic spirit into their home.
Other children have seen ghosts.
He's even more worried when he learns they burned the board.
Never, ever burn a Ouija board. When you burn that Ouija board, you're burning the oracle in the physical sense, but you have not closed down the gateway.
Demonologist Dave Considine arrives at the house with a member of his investigative team, Barbie Hyde.
There was an air about the house. It felt like something intimidating was behind you. It was a very, very uncomfortable feeling.
This is Julie. Julie? These nice people have come to help us. Can you say hello? Julie, these nice people have come to help us. Can you say hello?
Hi, Julie.
When I had first met Julie,
How are you?
there was no fear upon her face.
Ah,
You only saw the fear in the other members of the family.
Do you mind if I look around for a little bit?
not at all, please.
Okay, I'm gonna sit here with Julie.
Dave senses that Julie can see and hear spirits.
What are you doing?
It's very rare, but there are some children who are born mediumistic. It was the first time that I had ever experienced ectoplasm.
Dave believes that ectoplasm is a manifestation of powerful psychic energy. The phenomenon convinces him that the family's stories are real.
Let's sit down and then talk about what's really going on here.
The investigators interview Chris and Marie in depth about what has been happening.
Please tell me, what have you seen?
Well, Marie's been having bad nightmares.
They looked as though they were at the end of their road.
I have a nightmare of this man, mid-30s, dressed in black.
Investigator Barbie Hyde senses the family's frustration.
How long is this gonna take? What can you do? How soon can you get this out of the house? What's the best way to protect the children? The best you can do is say you have to work with us and be patient with us.
As best as you can, do not show anger or fear.
He said not to acknowledge it or give it any recognition, because that gives it power. He said anger or fear feeds it.
It's not that they're afraid because there's things happening in the house. This thing is centering on their fear. It knows what scares you.
All right. Thank you. Thank you for coming. I appreciate you.
Dave realizes that if there
Being
is
here.
a diabolical spirit in the Potter's house, its main goal is to possess and destroy them. The paranormal investigators return with 2 additional researchers and video and audio equipment. They hope to document the supernatural occurrences inside the home in case they need to convince the Catholic Church to become involved. Technical specialist John Arell.
Before we can have any sort of intervention, we have to present them with enough evidence, say, okay, here's what's going on in the house.
Chris has taken the children to a motel. Except for Julie. Since Julie was the first to acknowledge the supernatural presence, the investigators believe that she may be a source of energy for the spirits. They convince the family that she should remain in the house to increase the likelihood of paranormal activity. The investigators divide into 2 teams and place recording equipment throughout the house.
I'll put on some coffee.
Okay. Thanks.
Okay, thanks. I heard what sounded like bowling balls rolling around upstairs.
The investigator knows that no one is on the 2nd floor.
I got this feeling that something or somebody was watching me.
Definitely needs holy water here.
Stand by.
I need holy water.
Stand by.
Okay, I'll take it up.
I got a cold sweat on my neck. I knew there was something behind me.
You okay?
I couldn't believe what I was seeing.
Bobby, you okay? We got...
Is she all right?
I'm not sure.
The next thing I remember is everybody surrounding me.
Barbie, are you all right?
I'm not sure.
What happened?
Help her up.
Honey? What happened? What? Are you all right, Barbie?
Something you can't grasp or fight against is in complete control of you.
Barbie, I'm fine.
Hey, come on, stand up.
It makes me think, if it just did that,
No.
if it just tossed me down the stairs, what else is it capable of?
Thankfully, Barbie is
No, I'll be
unharmed.
fine. Let's stay here with Julie.
The Diabolical will do these physical attacks upon the investigators in the home, to create fear, to create a sense that it's in control, that you have no right to be there, and it's going to do to you exactly what it's doing to the family. In a diabolical haunting, anyone who steps into that house is in danger.
Demonologist Dave Considine knows that he will need help to combat a spirit this threatening.
After what just happened, I see that we have no other choice but to get the church involved.
Well, let's do it.
Yeah, you see, but it's not that simple.
We need to know exactly what this is to be able to bring the proper authorities into the house to take care of the problem.
And we're gonna have to come back here several more times to collect enough evidence.
Enough for what?
Enough evidence to convince the church that they have to come here and perform an exorcism.
When the investigators return, they bring a clairvoyant with them, hoping that she can determine the specific cause of the haunting.
I was not sure if we were dealing with one particular spirit, or possibly human spirits that were residing in the home along with the diabolical. That's why I had brought in someone to discern the home.
John, I'm gonna walk the house.
The clairvoyant is drawn to one particular room.
Is everything all right?
There's a spirit, and he's using this child as a portal into this
He
house.
uses her. And I said, what are you talking about? She goes, he uses her. He hides in her.
The look on this clairvoyant's face was a look of a predator.
She's get out of here. Let's get out of here.
The clairvoyant had discerned that there was one particular entity in the home, and that it was of diabolical nature.
Into this house. Let me take you home. Thank you. Okay. Oh, thank
Dave Considine concludes that the visions seen by the family members, the little boy and the demonic Frank, are disguises assumed by a single entity that is trying to manipulate the family.
Diabolicals will always try to make themselves look bigger, and they will always try to appear as multitudes. They call themselves Legion.
After repeated visits to the house, Dave presents his evidence to the church. An exorcist agrees to help the family. The exorcist first meets in private with Marie.
Are you telling me that you think my daughter's possessed?
He explains that Julie cannot be possessed because she has no ability to choose between good and evil.
You said your daughter is a victim.
But we do need to stop this demon from oppressing her, using her to enter your home. I propose a minor exorcism, a blessing over the house and the people in it, to get rid of this demon. I think we better get started. God, arise.
A Roman Catholic priest prepares for an ancient ritual to protect a family tormented by a demon.
As smoke is driven away, so are they driven. As wax melts before
He recites
the
a
fire
minor
of
form
God.
of exorcism to drive the diabolical spirit out of the house.
So the wicked perish before the presence of God.
It was using the child as a gateway, an entry point.
We drive you from us.
This child has not the ability to say yes, nor does the child have the ability to say no.
Unclean spirits, all satanic power.
I had 2 investigators sit on both sides of the small girl. Because she was the possible entry point.
She didn't have the comprehension to understand the severity of the situation. It really didn't have a will, one way or the other, to initiate or break off the communication.
In the name and by the power of our Lord Jesus Christ, may you be snatched away and driven from the church of God.
Julie grows angry.
Her hands were sort of in a raking gesture.
By the precious blood of the divine Lamb. Prostrate ourselves before thy glorious majesty, and we beseech thee to deliver us by thy power from all the tyranny of the infernal spirits. We drive you from us, whoever you may be, unclean spirits, all satanic powers, legions, assemblies, and sects, driven from the church of God.
She's staring intently at the priest. You know, if I can get my hands on you type of thing. But it really wasn't her, it was the entity that was possessing her.
Before thy glorious majesty.
Our gut was it wanted to get up and go after the priest. And if we weren't watching her, it would have.
We heard 3 distinct loud booms, indicating that the entity that was there left the house.
You all right?
The family senses that their home is safe again.
All right, sweetie?
The house changed. The house got much lighter. house smelled differently. The air felt better.
Julie? Baby?
It just feels as though there's a tremendous weight that's taken off the house.
In the following days, the house remains at peace.
We were very grateful and we were very happy. We thought, this had done the trick.
The exorcism removed the diabolical entity from the house, but did not destroy the evil. The Potter family has since moved, but their nightmares continue.